He's a bit of an extremist, but
it's too far. Yeah, way too far. Like he's anti-interracial relationships. What he said about. I feel like you can't be anti, but I understand the ethos. But how can you be anti-interracial? No,
it doesn't make sense.
You can't.
Yeah. So the other thing that me and Shaker, I'll let you take the open floor on this one. Regarding the topic of male gaze.
Regarding the topic of male gaze, are you guys familiar with the term male gaze?
Yeah, like the. No, wait, when you mean male gaze, as in like the male viewpoint?
Let them know.
Male viewpoint in terms of how guys look at women, how guys.
Oh, you're on this Kevin Samuel.
No, this is not even Kevin Samuel. This is more of a feminism term or feminist term.
Oh, okay.
In the sense that men, it's basically all around how men view women and sexualize women and their approach to women.
And how it makes women feel like they have to move or
carry themselves in a certain way.
To be desired or whatever. Is that what you
mean? To be desired and sometimes to not be desired when they don't feel like being desired. So have you ever been in a situation where you're on a train or something like that?
Yeah,
and the guy is looking at you and you don't want him to be looking at you.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah, 100%. No. I get. Okay,
I'm so confused.
Like in your life.
Okay.
So basically, being sexualized by
over
sexualized by a man, whether it be like the demands that they have of you. Could it be?
It could be the demands. It can be just their overall view of you, just how they look at you.
Alright, I'm gonna say a side point. In the words of Dr. Remember we watched. He said Dr. Umar.
Breakfast Club. I think I sent that to you as well.
Yeah, Dr. Umar. Okay, based on this, so he kind of touched on this whole he didn't say it from this viewpoint, but he was touching on. What was he touching on? So he was touching on basically how men perceive and deal with women. Because, his idea is that, the black woman should be treated as a queen or whatever, blah, 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 and respected, honoured and treasured. So one of the things that he said was that basically, that the black men, they need their chakras aligned. The reason why he said this was because he's saying that the desire for sex is a lot. Like the desire for sex, like the mind frame and the mentality of men, not being able to, focus or whatever, I don't know if it's one person, but you can. So what he said, so basically what he said is that people need their chakras aligned. Obviously, I don't believe in chakras and stuff, but I would say this is
the drive, the hormones.
Yeah. One thing that I don't believe in chakras and that, but I do believe that again, when you're constantly fed images of women being sexualized, I do believe that it could affect
how you perceive
women. And I do feel like that men in general, it could get to the point of not being so healthy, or when I say healthy in terms of having a healthy environment for both the man and the woman, if that makes sense.
So let me ask you a question. How much, if any, or I'm sure to a certain level in our culture, society, you do. So to what extent do you feel the pressure of the male gaze in education, work, family, social gatherings, functions, social media? How much,
Wait,
pressure?
To clarify, the male gaze is the way that
the sexualization.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how does that correlate to education?
So do you ever feel like you ever have to play up?
Or play down.
Yeah, play down, or somehow act in a certain way.
Yeah. I agree.
Based on the fact that we are living in a patriarchal society, and
I would say 100%. I would say 100%. In terms of not playing down, but I'm not doing bad for myself, and I think a lot of men may have assumptions of the way that I am because of what I have, if that makes sense. And that may intimidate. For me, I'm a person that I'm not bothered about what I have, if that makes sense. As long as a person is driven and they're focused, that's important for me, because of course if I'm that person and then the person that you're with isn't, you could bring me down, or you wouldn't be compatible, right? But I do feel, and I'll probably say that I've experienced where people have felt very uncomfortable not having similar achievements that I have had. So it does play, and I would say women within my field as well have had that, where they've had men like be quite egotistical or try to put them down.
Yeah.
Or try to always like play down their cheat. It's not even that they're coming on that flex of, oh yeah, I'm a boss, treat me nice, take me to Hakkasan and all those things. No, it's not that. But yeah, definitely I've noticed that like a lot of males may struggle with that. Or you get the other ones that don't really care but want to just like eat your money sort of thing, which is you know, which is unfortunate as well. So yeah, I would say like it's definitely something that rings on my mind. Like how I am definitely more cautious about like the way I talk about like my achievements or whatever, because I feel like I do feel that.
So you guys you might be touching on something we see on later on, but I think I'll try to explain. What me and Shagan are trying to explain in terms of like the male gaze
from a sexual point of view.
Yeah, from a sexual point of view, is how, for example, some women, probably yourselves to a certain extent, you might feel pressure not to like sexualize yourselves or, you know, dress a certain way, but knowing how men are in our society, in our culture, you will feel pressure to maybe use that to your advantage to an extent. That's one side of it. Or because of how men are in our society, you know, it can dictate the way that you are one way or another. Yeah,
I think from a sensual point of view, I don't put that pressure on myself. I think that's because.
Are you aware?
I think the person.
I'm aware.
It's mad normalized though, if that makes sense. Yeah. Like I feel like women do that without even realizing that they do it. If that makes sense. Like, so I could say to myself like, oh, I don't think I do that, but in the same way, like, single women will go out to a club or to a restaurant and they'll look extra good than maybe if they were in a relationship, because they know the type of men that they're seeing. Because like if they're single, they're gonna go out expecting that, okay, men are gonna be there. If I'm gonna draw a man today, I gotta look a certain way. But if they're single, they kind of look good just so that people can look at them and be like, oh, okay, because some women feel validated, or like even not just
by the male gaze.
By the male gaze. The male gaze, even like, for example, what's his name? Steph Curry's girlfriend will say he doesn't get my attention anymore.
Wife. And
people say girlfriend when they're wife. I don't know but the wife, she
that's very true.
She doesn't feel validated because other men are giving her attention, even though she's married, which shows that the male gaze is important for women. Some women, to make sure that they still look like the part, even like married, doesn't even matter if they're in a relationship or not, just the fact that
you still got it, like,
you still got it, you know
things
what I mean?
are still happening.
People still appreciate you and what you have.
Especially because in society, I used to always have this conversation with my housemates, because I lived with another girl and 4 boys, so it was very like the testosterone in the house. we would argue, and I'd say in society, we had this argument like a month ago. In society, men are allowed to be ugly and women are not. And that's just in a blunt way, not in a sense where, oh yeah, if you're not attractive to people, then
that's
you can't be. But just in a blunt way, we had this argument that men are allowed to be unattractive and women aren't, because one guy was making one point about how there's still that men have to have money, and if they have money, it's acceptable. If a woman can be broke, but if they're pretty, a rich man will still wife them. But the other way around, a pretty woman will not wife a broke man, whether he's ugly or not. But people say, oh, I like my men medium ugly, or I like my men ugly, as long as they have a money, a car, good drip, and etc. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like the standard of men and the standard of women also contributes as to why women like value the male gaze, because that's in some ways that male gaze is what's gonna pay for their nails and their hair and their clothes and their so that's the reason why the male gaze is without the pressure is just there.
And that's why I would disagree with any woman that says that they do not consciously or subconsciously give in to the male gaze. I mean, it's good and bad, but everyone is aware of it, subconsciously or consciously, and gives into it.
I agree. I agree.
Definitely.
I'm running a self-analysis now. I'm wondering, do I? I don't know. I think in my head that I dress for myself. But the thing is, I think there's certain variables like within my childhood that makes me a certain way. Like, for example, my mum, she runs a domestic violence refuge or whatever. So like, she always teaches me and tells me things about like, you know, how abuse can come to play and how easy it is for you to lose yourself like in a relationship. So she's always taught me these sort of things like you have to stand for your own and set your boundaries and, you know, do things for yourself. So I felt like that's mostly been in the forefront. Like she's always, like from young, I'll never forget, my mum used to do like random checkups, which I used to hate. But she'd be like, has anybody touched you? I said, oh, Mum, can you just leave it? What do you mean no one's touched me? Can you stop? But it's like, she said, no, they're not supposed to touch you here. And like, if anybody ever says to you, you know, they'll do anything to me. If you tell them, like, don't believe them, always tell me. So these sort of things that I've kind of grown up listening. And so maybe in a way, I wouldn't say it's demonized, but like the male gaze is not necessarily a safe thing or like the best thing for me, like in my mind, because that male gaze, boy, when I'm just there, you know, doing my own thing, and then all of a sudden he comes out of the bushes. My goodness, God forbid, you know what I mean? So yeah, maybe I don't know. I feel like I don't like try to seek that attention because of the way I was brought up, like, and I know how things can really go left.
I think
I don't know.
Socially, especially if someone is a heterosexual, I think socially, there is also a female gaze, but I say male gaze because it's normally the man that is more fixated on these kind of things. In a social sense, when a girl that wants to look pretty, look good, goes to a social function, there is a way that she wants to be perceived, not necessarily for acceptance.
Oh yeah, as beautiful.
Not for acceptance.
But don't guys do that as well, though?
No, but it's not the extent. Is like the push and pull is not as great for women because, as you mentioned, like the value in our society in most cases is the woman has the value normally naturally from her beauty and how she looks like.
Yeah.
You know, so in that kind of context, most women, that's subconsciously something that they seek. I don't know if I'm making sense.
I feel like I get what you mean.
You want it.
Yeah, but then so does a guy though. A guy does want to be.
We're not to
If you get that little honey, it's looking at you, thinking, wow. Especially if she's proper staring, you're like, wow, is this me? Yeah, is this what I can do?
Okay. No, definitely, you know? I feel like that's true as well. I feel guys do play up to
the pressure is more on women.
Well. I do feel like that as well because that's why you get guys again. A guy's worth is basically
his money.
His money.
What's this one?
His status.
Something, innit? Don't worry.
You don't know
this guy. He wanted to do a display for us.
You don't know this guy.
But yeah, it's more his money. Even the status thing, you can have status. No, if there's no peace, then bruv, like, what is that?
Matt Hancock versus the Oliver Boyd.
But at the same time, but that one I don't feel like that was even basic.
That was young love.
That was just
something. That's unfinished business. But yeah, no, I do agree that guys do play up to a female gaze as well.
I do believe that the women have more pressure. I will definitely acknowledge that. Like, you can't be in denial. Of course, you know, women have more are pressured because our value. There is a higher dependency on beauty. 100%. Like, come on, you've got the beauty industry, you've got the nail industry, you've got every sort of thing. So of course, but I think everyone has an element of it regardless. But definitely.
Do you think it's wrong?
No, I think it's just life. As long as I don't know, I think it becomes wrong when you indebt yourself to reach a standard, or you lack that self-love. Do you know what I mean? Or you begin to hate yourself. That's when it becomes wrong. I think.
What do you think?
Whether it's wrong?
Yeah.
I don't think so. But like she said, if it's too much, then that's where it can become a problem, because like the expectation can get to a certain level, if that makes sense. Like the girl won't feel pretty without makeup, or like their self-love decreases because the male gaze has set an expectation of what the woman should look like. And I feel like that's why women try to chase a certain perception of beauty. Like there's no perfection. Like all these like surgery and stuff, like like that kind of male gaze is what contributes to it. Like men always say, today's new trend is the beauty standards kind of come from men, and the trend is always changed. That's why now it's big lips, now it's BBL, now it's this. So that's why now women are trying to chase this form of perfection that there's no perfect. So I kind of that's when it starts to
But I find it funny though, because I always see, that's why I don't understand men sometimes, because like you might see in the comments
sometimes I don't
you don't understand
like,
you don't understand
No, but like in the comments it'd be like, like I don't know why women do this natural, but then when the girl is walking past the eyes,
all the models that you guys
do you know what I mean,
post and like and all of that is
not
like,
me, boy. You know me.
that is
But then at the same time, I get a lot of
that.
women saying that, I do it for myself. Like,
female empowerment.
Yeah, like,
let her do what you do. Let her be independent in that way.
But I feel
Apparently,
like to an extent, people are doing it for themselves so that they feel better in the male gaze, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So technically it's for themselves.
And they lie to themselves.
But it's for themselves that they feel better, because
ultimately it's not
technically
for themselves.
sometimes the male gaze is what influences.
Because you're doing it for.
Do you feel like someone can get a body alteration and say that they're doing it for themselves?
Yeah, sometimes.
I think
sometimes, like some people
Actually,
can't breathe and they get
no.
Okay, no. I mean, like, like,
you can't breathe. You don't tell them to open
no. Oh my gosh, Shagan. What's going on here?
But you can have a body alteration and it makes you feel better. But then at the same time,
no, like sometimes because some people they're flat chested or whatever. Like sometimes it's for yourself. You know, like it could be.
I disagree.
What is it for yourself for? Like,
because you might feel less of a woman. Like you.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Know
But
what I
then
mean?
sometimes I feel like the argument that they have towards that is the fact that it's like, the only reason why you feel like that is because the men have made that standard of that woman with bigger breasts are more attractive. Do you get it? So now
I get it, but then it could be a comparison, like to other women as well.
Yeah, definitely.
But
true,
even
true.
the biology behind that, when a male mate and a female mate are attracted, it's normally because of a certain aesthetic. I don't know if you know about Robins, but I think the Robin with the biggest chest.
It's because bigger boobs are portrayed with biologically. You feel like they can feed your children, but bigger hips is that they're
flashing. I don't know.
Bigger hips portray that they're good at childbearing, and so apparently
There's
biologically this whole sexual attraction is fair.
But you know what? Yeah, I feel like at the end of the day, there's always somebody for someone.
Because if you're working on something that doesn't, for example, is surgically, it's not a life or death thing, and it's not to necessarily better improve your health. What are you really just doing it for yourself?
You say what's the point?
Can I be honest with you? Nobody knows. Do you know what I mean?
Nobody knows.
Some people, I would say there's definitely. Okay, let me say this. There's definitely an element of that. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. There's always an element.
Can I make a blanket statement and say that anybody that does a body alteration is doing it because of a man? My goodness, that's a strong statement to make. A very, very strong statement. What about if they're lesbian?
No, but obviously, if someone is if someone's a gay, you're doing it for.
Yeah. But I'm saying, my point is, they're not. When people say that they're doing it for themselves, I don't.
So you always think it's for somebody else.
I feel like they're doing it for someone else.
But
I feel like you're doing it for someone else.
I don't know.
You're doing it for someone else.
I don't have the faith and the courage to say that. Sometimes it could be your sister had bigger boobs than you, and you was the only one with flat chest, and then you feel inadequate, so you want it for yourself. You know what I mean?
But then,
do you know what I mean? So it's not that you're doing it for. You're not doing it for your sister, are you? But you're doing it for yourself.
If that's the case, then
you feel inadequate.
You need. I don't know.
I don't think in any example, any space, it's possible for somebody to make an aesthetic change, even as simple as, for example,
changing their hair,
doing your nails. Even if it's not even for the attraction of the opposite sex. It will be to be seen.
People
on the
cannot
outside.
do self-love again.
No. It's not about. I'm not saying it's not about
No, I get
self-love.
what you mean.
I'm saying that because it's something on the outside.
But it's not always for a sexual thing, though.
It can even be for friends.
Everyone does that, though. Everyone does that.
But that's what I'm trying
When you
to
get
say.
the fresh team, guys are overfeeding themselves. It's like, wow.
But
Start taking a long way home.
Do you know what I mean?
Running errands.
You know what I mean? So,
Straight home, man.
Can't you just sit in front of the TV, innit? But I'm not saying that element is like that. I'm saying, sorry, that element is always there. Sorry, it's always there. That there is. I don't know in what.
I think it's self-care, because even the fact that you're looking after yourself releases those hormones that make you feel happy and stuff like that. So it's not always, because if I went to go get my nails and I went to go get a pedicure, it feels good. I feel clean. I feel proper. Now my body feels, my mental health has gone. I've left the house. I've seen the sun. It's all together makes the whole experience of me doing my nails. I've left the house, first of all. I've spoken to people. Imagine I've been indoors for the whole of lockdown. When I'm doing my nails first time, it's not because Sharon in the 24-hour off license is going to see me. It's because I know that now I've done something on my day that seems
you've taken care of yourself.
Exactly, that seems productive, and I feel like that's a lot of things. That's a lot of the contribution towards a lot of things that people do, like doing their hair, doing their nails.
And sometimes you just get bored, like of the same style, like you want to do something
different. It just makes you feel. It actually genuinely makes
you do it for yourself. You do it for yourself. Again, you do it for yourself. You can even do it for yourself predominantly.
Okay, Ellie, when you get your trim, who do you do it for?
Well, first I do it for myself.
Then
so why can't a female do their hair for themselves?
Then for the missus. And even then, if I'm being honest,
and then who else? Even
if I'm being very honest, even you are in a relationship, and you like, no. You like, naturally, as a man or woman, especially more for women, as we've been saying, but as a man or woman, you like to be looked upon or perceived in a good light. In any way, whether that's your character or physically. 100%. If I go to where I'm going to church, where I'm going to work, a social function, amongst men, amongst women, I want you to see me in a good way. So,
in other words, I want you to think that I'm good looking, I'm buff, I'm fly.
Just I hear that you look after
Speak English.
I'm looking good. That doesn't. Again, I'm not necessarily saying that the attraction. Okay, we're talking about the male gaze in that.
Everybody loves to be loved and appreciated. That's
because females are normally more as well insecure about how they look and what they do, and they try, in one way or another to better themselves on the outside to, again, I don't want to say get validation from other people, but
there's definitely an element of that.
Yeah, there is an element, naturally, because women are more conscious of how they look. If a woman has one spot here, it's the end of the world. But that's the story for another day.
Not all of them.
Huh?
Not all of them.
But that's why I find it impossible to believe that there is any example where a woman can do something, whether to her hair, her nails, or a certain body part, and she can do it for herself, but there's no reason or there's no intent to do it for somebody else.
I don't know. I feel like there could be various reasons why a person would.
So you think?
Change.
So
like I said,
in your now let me flip on you.
Yeah.
So in your case, when
you're gonna start talking about I thought he was gonna start exposing my fitness goals out here.
Whoa.
I said, Ellie,
good friends
why?
don't do that. Anyway,
yeah, sorry,
but you do yourself up. You want to glow up. You want to look fly, whatever. There is an element of wanting to look good to other people on the outside.
Yeah. But that's everyone, though. That's what I'm saying. That's everyone.
So that's what I'm saying, that is always there. That can never not ever not
male
be
or
there.
female, yeah.
Okay, so that means I was right then.
What was that? Wow, you see, can you see how Ellie...
This is you two, I don't know.
In an argument, then he will now come and he was... Even though that's not his original point, the foundation of his point.
No, that was his original point.
What
he was saying.
Someone sees what I see.
He stayed with it. All I know, for me, I get trimmed for attention. That's it. if nobody
He
cared,
says as it
if
is.
nobody cared, I would
That's
leave.
why we
During
love him.
lockdown, I did not care. I didn't care. Everything was there. Everybody was looking bummy. I don't care.
Oh,
Because
so-
nobody
but-
see me.
Oh,
You
okay,
see
but then so you do get trimmed for, but everybody does an element of has that element of, you know, you have to love yourself. You have to you looking in the mirror and you're looking raggedy. It's not good for the mental health.
Yeah, it's true. It's for
I
men.
agree though that doing it for yourself is the most important thing, because then if you don't do it for yourself first and you do it for other people, that's when there's always a risk that it can go too far, because other people's opinions. And,
Ever changing, man. Too much
Wow.
wahala. My dear, love yourself and work on yourself. The way you like it.
Hey.
That's stressful. Can you imagine that though? Living a life like
people
that.
live like literally.
It's
People
too
do it,
stressful,
though.
man.
You probably
do it.
know.
A lot of people do.
I know,
Yeah,
but I want my
yeah.
sisters to be free from it. Set yourself free,
Free from
sisters.
those shackles of
Ah.
personality.
It's a hard one.
Hey.
It's
For
not
real.
easy.
It's definitely not.
Oh,
It's because I think
too
they're
much.
craving or they're trying to find self-love in other things.
And sometimes when you get that attention, the guy, oh dear,
Yeah.
dear.
Men attention.
If
is
something
fake.
gets you something,
Yeah.
it can be a temptation or addictive as well.
The male gaze is fake.
It's
Okay, not
fake.
the male gaze, but the like male attention.
Or like the dream.
Like,
Okay.
they will. I don't know. Like for example, the way that you guys, like the ideal woman or like the standards that are there, like big breasts, big bum, the curvy body, but you'll settle for not settle, but your girlfriend is not like that. But this is the pictures that you're liking, and there's that common type of like scenario. where
Yeah,
it's like,
that's
these are
the
the girls that you're
problem.
liking. This is but your
But I
girlfriend
think
doesn't look like that.
but that's what's so mad though, because like when I speak to my guy friends and stuff about this, it's just like the girls that they like, it's not the girls that Instagram, and I'm talking about this across all races.
Yeah.
Like the girls that they're talking about, I said,
I agree with
That's
that
why
one.
it's
your girlfriend does not look like this.
Exactly. You're searching for the women are trying to get to this certain level, but just be yourself. A man will like you for that. You don't need to try and be this image that.
And
is
sometimes
being
the girlfriend
portrayed on
is
social
even
media
the
and stuff.
total opposite. I said, oh dear.
There's
That's why I don't understand
There's
men.
even like a trend on TikTok.
You see what I'm saying? Everybody they're saying men say they don't understand women. I don't understand that.
Haha.
I don't get it.
So what? Because I'm driving one car, I cannot want to look and want to buy a Lamborghini or look at Lamborghini and like Lamborghini.
Oh dear. Wow.
Maybe I'm just connected to the car that I'm driving.
Wow.
You're basically
I
saying,
am my brother's keeper apart from this. I don't know.
Wow, so you're
saying
saying
you're
not
on
get
your
a
own.
Lamborghini.
No, I'm just saying.
Oh
as an
my
example,
gosh.
You can
This
admire
one-
something.
I hope you don't
That doesn't
drive
mean that you
Fiat.
own it.
I don't know.
That doesn't mean
Yeah, it would be a
you can
big
admire
problem.
something. Doesn't mean that you own it. Doesn't mean that you even necessarily even want it, but you can admire it.
That's.
It doesn't mean that you built a connection with that thing.
100%.
That's
So
that's
not everything is
that's
just
a good
based on
point.
aesthetics. Man.
Oh yeah, 100%.
it's true because it
You
can
flipped
look
it
nice,
all.
but the amount of petrol. it
See,
can take
ladies, that's
too
why I
much.
shouldn't bother.
Tax, road tax,
Is it?
everything.
Insurance long.
Long, so-
Come to think of it now, like I don't know, Shagan, you agree, but
Mm,
because you've been in a relationship also with a girl
mm.
before. For us guys, I believe that, and I think it's the same for women too. But for us guys, we don't want to be with a girl that, again, forgive me for my language, is a throwaway girl. That's
Yeah.
why
Is
when
a
we see
who?
other
Is a what?
throwaway girl,
What's that?
throwaway as in she's not
For the
desired by
streets.
other men.
Yeah.
Oh, I
No,
was even
wait,
thinking for
no,
the
no,
streets. That one is
I'm
not even
bouncing.
the throwaway girl.
I'm bouncing.
The one that's for the streets.
No, no,
It's the
no.
one that is not decided. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Okay.
Again, this neither
So
here
you
nor
guys
there.
want your boys to also think?
No, you
No,
have
but
to
in all honesty,
understand.
no.
Let me go.
I don't know.
You see what I'm saying? Let me try this far. Let me go.
They definitely do that.
You join me for the ride.
They
Let me go and
Okay,
get one.
okay.
Let me just get one.
Okay.
Where, like, when, like, even like if you, because I've spoken to guys, experiences myself, where a random
I thought he was
your
about to
partner.
say you.
No. Let me get to the destination. So your partner will tell you that, oh, I was chucked by another guy. You know, most men who are not crazy, they was like, okay, obviously if you were there, you would do something, but you understand the levels. You understand, you know,
Guys do
what you
their
picked.
thing, yeah.
You know, so that element of the male gaze as well, I think it plays a part into like how significant it is. Not that you want your boys and other people
Yeah.
intentionally,
You want to know
but you
that what you got is
understand.
good. That other people are
You
appreciating what you've got, but
understand.
you
And it
got
works the other way
You
too.
got it.
And it works the other way too.
Yeah, like I feel like girls would do that as well. Like I feel like
Yeah, but it's less. It's less. In the women
But I do
community.
feel like I've had to, like, friends that have made like disclaimers like about their partners and be like, yeah, I
He's
love
not even
him,
that
but
big,
he's
no.
not that good looking. Like,
he's so sweet.
yeah.
But with men,
Or like, oh, he's
you
like-
guys. That's what I was saying before about,
Yeah.
in, like bluntly, men are not allowed to be. Men are allowed to be ugly, because if you guys were to die, not you guys, but if men not take home, but show their woman to. That there's this thing about a man showing their girls in like group chats and stuff, some young type thing, but why would you do that in the first place if you're not trying to like get some sort of reaction
Or validation.
Even before, like even in like uni culture, before a man moved to a girl, they will even go to their boys, oh, what should I do? And then if they give the heads up, then they'll go and do it. If they're like, no, she's not, like, that will stay in the man's mind and he won't move to her, or he won't speak to the woman. But with girls, like, girls can bring home any type of caliber of man to their woman, to their girlfriends, and they can say, oh, like, he's cute or whatever makes you happy, and no one speaks about it ever again. But,
yeah, I guess, yeah. It's not that thing that be like, oh, but your man's ugly. Or...
yeah, but with
Not really.
like, it's a boy culture. It's a man in a man's culture or in men culture that like males will speak about.
But, yeah,
the
but
girl-
do you know